Hi, I'm Emma from Honeybuns Bakery. Thank you for watching. We're doing some really quick, versatile, adaptable recipes from our all-day cookbook here. And we've had quite a lot of feedback from you about how difficult it is at the moment to get flour, regular plain and self-raising flour in the shops. So because we are here a gluten-free bakery, we're quite adept, or we're quite experienced at using non-standard flours. So I thought I could talk you through it quickly. I'm going to do a carrot flip recipe, which is delicious and really versatile. It's essentially a pancake batter, and in the book the recipe calls for a blend. It's a really good blend, one kind of like our go-to one if you like, of sorghum flour, polenta and tapioca. I appreciate that these may sound weird and wacky and you might not have heard of them before. It gives a really soft blended flour a texture, lovely soft texture. You can get these flours usually in supermarkets and health food shops. You can also get them online from Dove's Farm as well. And you can also try our beloved sous chef, that's S-O-U-S chef. They've got plenty of really interesting ingredients on there as well. If you don't want to go down that route and you find that too complicated, then you can do what I'm going to do today, which is forget the blend of flours and use a regular gluten-free self-raising or plain flour. If you're using plain flour, which I am today, you then need to add a teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder. I'm making the assumption for our gluten-free viewers that you're going to want it gluten-free. Clearly, if you can get hold of non-gluten-free flour and it's not an issue, then go ahead and do that. So I've weighed out 110 grams of plain gluten-free flour, and like I say, I've added a teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder to that. You then need 40 grams of sugar. In these straitened times of not being able to get your hands on everything you want, it really doesn't matter what kind of sugar. I think in the book it recommends coconut sugar, which is great if you can get it, but this is demerara. You can use light brown sugar, granulated, anything you've got really, as long as it's granulated, not liquid. Then crack in 2 free-range eggs, or whatever you can get. I've got large ones here. I think the recipe called for medium, but it's quite a forgiving recipe, don't worry too much. I've grated, that's my oven timer, sorry about that. I've grated 2 small carrots, roughly grated, stick those in. So it's basically inspired from a carrot cake mix. You've got the same flavours going on. I found, literally did just find some chopped up, don't know what they are exactly, they're from the bakery. I think they're chopped up organic apricots, but any dried fruit that takes your fancy, sultanas, raisins, like I say, dried apricots, be inventive, whatever you've got in the store cupboard really. Ditto with your spices. I've got cinnamon. The recipe again I think goes for mixed spice, something like that, really doesn't matter, whatever you prefer. You're going for that carrot cake vibe, which is traditionally cinnamon and nutmeg, so you can grate some nutmeg in. And to taste, I would say go lightly. You can always add more if you taste the batter once you've mixed it. And then you're going to add your liquid, which in this case is vegetable oil and milk. I've measured them all into the measuring jug together, and that's a total of 175 ml of vegetable oil. It's 100 ml of vegetable oil and 75 ml of coconut milk. The milk, we use the organic Waitrose one. There are plenty of others available, whatever you can get hold of. I just wanted to do this to give you an idea of the end consistency that you're aiming for. Like most of our recipes, it's really easy, quick, adaptable, and it's a one bowl job. So stick all of your ingredients in the bowl, whiz it around. If you haven't got one of these handy electric mixers, do it by hand, it'll be absolutely fine. And in traditional fashion, I have got the ones that I did earlier. They don't look quite as good because they've cooled down a wee bit. They're sensational straight out of the pan. And these are the carrot flips. They're mini drop pancakes, or I used to call them drop scones as a kid. And they are yummy. You need to eat them hot straight from the pan. Because this recipe is so clever, you can also do muffins. Exactly the same recipe. Stick them into a muffin pan, bake them at 180 degrees. They took 17-18 minutes, but just check check partway through the cooking to see whether they're colouring up. The carrot flips you just cook as a mini pancake. You can do larger ones if you wish. The thing that I would advise is make sure, like all pancakes, is that you get the vegetable oil in the pan bubbling hot before you add the batter, and don't crowd your pan. Don't do too many pancakes at once, because the heat, you'll rob the heat from the pan and they won't cook properly. So that's that one. It's a really, really good recipe. So I'm going to show you what I've done earlier. It's coming straight out of the oven. And this is the same batter. I've used more of it. And it's basically like a posh toad in the hole. I've used, you can't see them now because they've actually sunken in, I've used gluten-free vegetarian sausages. I've pre-roasted my veg. This is again from book 2, so it's a variant of that batter mix, and it's called All Day, oh no it's not, it's called the Weekend Brunch Bake in the book, and in the recipe it calls for red onions, garlic, courgette, cherry tomato. I didn't have the red onion, I've just used what I had in this instance, courgette and tomato. I haven't bothered with the herbs, but you can snip in whatever you fancy. Thyme works really, really well with this. Dried or fresh, whatever you've got. And it's so easy. You pre-roast your veg for 20 minutes with some soy sauce and vegetable oil, and they're slightly caramelised. You pre-cook the sausages for the same length of time in the oven at 180. You make your batter up as I've just showed you, but you would obviously minus the sugar, the carrots and the spice, so you've got a basic batter recipe. You pour your batter recipe into your baking tray. You add the pre-cooked vegetables and sausages, and you don't need to mix them in, you just rest them on top and they'll naturally kind of find a level, and then you bake it in the oven for 20 minutes. To be fair, this one, because we wanted to show you, I've gone just a little bit longer, so this was in the oven for about 24 minutes. And you can see it's puffing up around the edges. It's a beautiful, beautiful golden brown. And it's absolutely delicious. I would advise to eat it straight from the oven as a brunchy, lunchy kind of an option, but you can eat it cold as well. I hope this was helpful. If you've got any questions, please get in touch. It's thebee@honeybuns.co.uk. If you like it, we'd love it if you could share it, please. That would be amazing. And do check out our cookbook, which is on honeybuns.co.uk. Thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.